Admin one. Okay.
Okay.
Admin sir.
Nítorí mana.
Eh, mo máa wá bí for few minutes.
Ọjà tí wàá bá mú fún pọ̀.
It is same.
Wo owó mana.
It's same for one.
So, one meat black on it. And black on that meat, you are okay. One meat, you will start.
Okay, good morning. Testing. I would want us to do a quick test. Good morning, Professor Akintoye. It's good to have you here with us, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, sir.
All right, good morning. I just wanted to test to be sure that our connectivities are all correct.
Thank you.
All right, sir. We have two more speakers that we are hoping to join us very soon. I'm sure they're trying to log in at the moment. I've reached out to them. Also, just a quick introduction to how this session will run. I would commence the session with an introduction, and then immediately after that, I would introduce the panelists that everyone will be available at the time. And then from that point on, we would start with an opening remark from each of the panelists. I would mention the names of the panelists, and then each panelist will have a period of about 5 minutes to give an opening remark. And then post that, I would begin to ask a few questions, pretty much within the context of the conversations that we have identified as a topic. So we will do that, and each question will be directed at a panelist at my own behest. And then after that, post that, I would now ask for a closing remark by the panelists. And immediately after that, I would give an introduction of the MBA in Security Management in partnership with your university, sir. And then we will close. We will not be taking any questions from the participants today. And that's because the participants will not be on the platform called Zoom. They would be on another platform, and that is the YouTube platform. We have over 10,000 people that will be streaming this online today from our YouTube platform. So that's where we would have our participants. I'm sure quite a couple of them are already listening to this conversation, and they would, if they have any questions, they would put that in the chat box, and we will respond to those questions post this conversation. All right, once again, thank you, Prof. You're welcome. I will mute my mic at the moment and wait until just about time before we commence. Good morning, Commodore Dr. Kunle. You're welcome, sir. I was just trying to reach out to you to engage you. It's good we have you here, sir. Please, can you confirm you can hear me, sir, so that we can do a quick test before the session goes live once again? Dr. Kunle, are you there, sir? Testing, testing. Okay, I think he's gone off the line. I would like someone to please confirm you can hear me. Bolu, please, can you just for a second confirm you can hear me so that we can do a quick test of this?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, Bolu. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, Dr. Lawumi, once again, please, can you confirm you can hear us? Testing. Testing. Testing, testing. Okay, I think Dr. Lawumi has successfully been able to unmute his mic. Dr. Lawumi, please, could you confirm once again if you can hear us?
I can hear you clearly now. Very clearly.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
But
all right.
I can hear you.
All right. I can also hear you. It's loud and clear.
Are you?
I have with me.
Wait a minute. Yeah. No, it's not even the video now. Can I share my screen? But if I cannot, it's not a problem. But can I share?
Yes, you can. If you can, absolutely. I've granted that access, but not right away. So just give a quick introduction.
No, okay, whatever. But I just want to be sure everything is working before we start, so that we won't have interruption.
Okay.
This is your system. Seems it has a little problem, but it's okay. Anyway, I may not just even share screen. I'll just discuss. Everything is like not working very well.
Okay.
Why? I don't know.
Let's keep it at discussion level so that we can work together. That will be seamless for everybody. Yes. Again, like as previously mentioned, we have. Can you hear me, sir? I can see you and I can hear you. Okay, good afternoon, everyone, to all of our audiences that have joined into the session. We will be starting the session very soon. Let's give a 2 to 3 minutes lag between one of the speakers trying to get around the application to join us. But I do assure you that once he joins in, we would immediately start. You're all welcome to the webinar session on the trend of insecurity in Nigeria. And that's what you will see being displayed on your screen at the moment. We will be talking about governance and policy gaps and the role of security education. And so, of course, you would see at the moment that we have on the screen the panelists that will be doing justice to this particular program. All right. So as soon as I can get one of the panelists to sort out the application problem, we would commence. So let's give like a 2 to 5 minutes time lag to achieve this purpose. All right, Dr. Kunle, please, can you just unmute your mic? Let's see if your sound system works perfectly. If that works perfectly, that would be perfectly fine for us. Dr. Kunle, can you hear me, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, loud and clear. And we can also see, yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to also use my phone because I don't know what was happening with the laptop.
Okay, that's
so I may have to deliver the lecture with the laptop, if you don't mind.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. Let me just quickly do a quick run through on how the session will run. I would introduce the session, and then immediately after that, I would introduce the panelists. and then I will give each panelist a 5-minute introduction. Okay, and immediately after that introduction, each panelist will be directed to give a 5 minutes opening introduction of the topic. And then post that, I would ask questions to each of the panelists. I would throw the questions to each of the panelists. And then post those questions. I will give each of the panelists another 2 minutes to wrap up or give their closing remark. And then after that, I would take it over and I would give a brief of our MBA Security Management in partnership with Babcock University. So at this time, we would be starting. So what I would ask is, at the point of introduction, I wouldn't mind if the panelists would unmute their video or to show their video, and let's just see your face briefly, and then after that you can mute the mic and you can shut down the video. Every time you need to speak, you can engage via your audio and your video just for your session. Immediately after your session, the next panelist would also show us the video and then unmute the mic, and so that we don't have a cross lag between one video and another video. All right. Once again, I welcome everybody to this session. This is the first of its kind in a very long time, and I believe that we're going to be having a fantastic time together. The topic is the trend of insecurity in Nigeria, governance and policy gaps, and the role of security education. And of course, today we have the privilege of hosting a distinguished panel of experts who will delve into this critical topic. They'll be sharing their insights and expertise to shed light on the complex issues surrounding insecurity in Nigeria. Let me state very quickly that the objective of this session is threefold, one of which is to identify and discuss the key governance and policy gaps that have contributed to the escalating trend of insecurity in Nigeria. The second one is to explore the role of security education in promoting a culture of peace and security, and to identify strategies for effective integration into Nigeria's educational system. And then lastly is also to provide insight into the Halogen MBA in security management in partnership with Babcock University. So our panelists today are renowned experts in their field. I will be introducing them very shortly. And I am very confident that their contributions will enrich our understanding of this critical issue and inspire meaningful discussions. All right. Now, for the viewers who are on YouTube right now, you would be permitted to ask your questions on the chat box. However, the panelists will not be responding. We will respond to those questions via the chat box as well. All right. So today we have two of our panelists that are currently on board. The third panelist will join us in the course of the program. She's unfortunately held up in a very critical emergency that she has to attend to. All right. We have Professor Ishola Rufus Akintoye. He's the director of Babcock Center for Executive Development. He's also the head of the Babcock Business School, that is Babcock University. Professor Ishola Rufus Akintoye, you're welcome to the webinar.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very, very much.
All right, thank you so much, sir. We also have retired Commodore Dr. Kunle Olawumi. He's currently the head of Department International Relations and Diplomacy, Chrisland University. Dr. Olawumi, you're welcome to today's webinar.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, thank you so much. You're all welcome. And of course, once we have the third panelist, we would immediately introduce her as soon as she comes on board. So as a starting introduction, I would like to, of course, start with Professor Ishola Rufus, the director of Babcock Center for Executive Development, to give us his opening remark on the topic that is being discussed. Professor Akintoye, over to you, sir. Okay, Professor Akintoye, can you hear me, sir?
Oh, yes, I'm hearing you now. Yes.
All right, beautiful. So I'll be asking you to give your opening remark regarding the topic of discussion.
Okay. Thank you very much, the organizers of this program. and thank you for having me. When I saw this title we are discussing today, I can say it's very apt and also very timely in the circumstance we are in this nation.
Okay, Professor Akintoye, please, may I ask that you allow us see your face so that the viewers...
Oh, yes, I did that before. I thought you were seeing me. Okay. Sorry for that. Can you see me now?
Okay, the screen is still blank. I think you may have covered your webcam.
Oh, no. No. Okay. Sorry, I'll call somebody now too. I can see myself there. I don't know what's wrong there. Okay. Are you seeing me now?
Not yet, sir. We saw you at the points of entry, but not anymore. But
wow.
while that is being sorted, please go ahead with your opening remarks, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Like I said, thank you very much for having me around. The issue of security is a very serious business, especially all over the world, not only in Nigeria, but it's more apt in Nigeria now and very timely because of where we are now and what we are seeing all around us. So, and I think it's very important for security environment to not only to just discuss, but to get people educated in security architecture around all over the world, which is one of the objectives of this engagement. I want to believe that discussing this at a time like this will not only assist just Nigeria, all over the world. Whatever we find out from this discourse and whatever we're able to come by can be made available to the whole world. And also, besides that, in our education and training that we're going to discuss during this course of this training, I think that will be very, very important. So once more, I want to appreciate the organizers for picking this title, which will now lead to our discourse today, and now we'll be able to bring out a lot of issues. Without security, everything is down. The central, the pivot elements in any nation is the issue of security, which we are discussing now. So once again, let me thank you very much for the opportunity to discuss and share my thoughts on one or two issues as we go on. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Professor Akintoye. That was very insightful and a very detailed opening remark. I would ask Dr. Kunle Olawumi at this time to give us his opening remarks and statement regarding this topic.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a wonderful program because the essence of this MBA program is to create knowledge, awareness, and enlightenment, to individuals, group, or maybe member of organization. As rightly mentioned by my predecessor, security is a very serious business. It's everybody's business. And that is why this MBA program is very instructive, because we cannot leave security in the hands of maybe just the military, the police alone. Everybody needs the knowledge, they need the awareness, and I think we need to all join this group and this program to be enlightened, so that we know what to do, when to do them, and we are going to ensure that we actually bring to you how to think security. Security is not really essentially what everybody thinks it is. And this is a program where we're going to actually make it clear to our participants what this is all about. It's really a program that I think I want to recommend. For me to come for this program means I take it seriously, and I think it's the right way to go to educate our population on the issue of security. I don't have to go through the retinue of insecurity problems we have in Nigeria. I think I want to focus on how we're going to get across our participants in knowing what to do. I will just give an example. If you have an active shooter scenario, what do you do? So it's beyond just talking about security. It's practically, letting people know that if you're in a room and somebody busting into your house and is shooting, what should you do? So as time goes by, we want to thank the organizer of this program to make it as interactive as possible, so that the more questions the participants ask me in particular, the better the program and the more enlightened we shall all be. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Olawumi. Thank you very much. So at this time, I will begin to ask the questions and then, of course, give the panelists the opportunity to respond to each of the questions. So I'll start with Professor Akintoye, sir. So I want to ask, in your expert opinion, what are the most critical governance and policy gaps that have contributed to the trend of insecurity in Nigeria, and how can they be addressed through policy reforms? What are currently the most critical governance and policy gaps that have contributed largely to the trend of insecurity in Nigeria, and how can they be addressed through policy reforms, evidence-based policy reforms? Professor Akintoye, sir.
Thank you very much. The first thing is, when there's a problem, you must first of all identify the problem, and also, having identified the problem, you want to look at what are the possibilities within the framework of the problem you have identified. And now you must have a very set objective at resolving such problems. And now, like, if you're talking of security and governance issue, the first thing is that we should all agree, the environment, corporate environment, private or public environment must agree that there are security challenges. We cannot underplay that. If you don't understand that there's a problem, then you don't know how to address it. But more than that, for governance to be able to undo the issue of security, as it were, you must understand, like I said, you have an objective, you understand the problem. And therefore, in the context of security we are talking about, we must understand the dynamics in the security environment. What are the type of security we are talking about? Where do we have them? And how do we address them? What are the objectives for addressing them? And also we have the moral will and political will at resolving them. That's very important. So how can we set up policies to address these security challenges? Number one, like I said, when we know the security challenges, we know the variants of these security challenges, then we know what are the necessary policy that we can put up to address them. And we must be very, very, very sincere and also very decisive about them. Not just saying that we want to address security. We must be ready to address the security and set up policies that will address it in terms of architecture. Because the truth is this: if you understand the security, the variants of the security, if you don't have the security architecture at addressing them, or the infrastructure, you know the architecture of the security, you know the variant of the security, and you have the infrastructure at addressing them. Look at where we are today. Now, security has gone beyond just on-site security issues or on-site risks. It has even gone beyond the risk on the field. It has gone beyond the field, the room, the office, the field. It has gone to the space, and of course to the cloud. So if that is the situation that we are, then the governance framework should be all-encompassing at addressing this. In which case, when we know them, what do we have to do? What are the policies? These policies will be channeled in such a way at addressing each of these variants. You cannot just set up just one global policy for the same security or all the security challenges together. No, they are their variants. For example, now, as simple as cyber is, cyber security issues is a specialized type of security. So setting up policies that will address every aspect of the security challenges, having identified them, is very important. And also understanding the security architecture, as it were, and also identifying the contemporary challenges on these security matters and the infrastructure, the technological advancement in those areas, and the technology to address this type of challenges must be understood, and we must be ready to face it. And as far as policies are concerned, put up policies that will put on, one, the necessary architecture for security. Number two, infrastructure for security. Number three, the technological, issues for security, and also the necessary financing. In our budget, we cannot underplay the issue of security because, like I said, if everything is okay in the work environment, in corporate governance, there are 5 issues that we manage: men, money, material, machine, and method. If all these are put in place without security, we'll discover that we will not be able to achieve anything. And therefore, policies that will address this, as far as the framework and the governance platform is concerned, is that at that level, we must look at different security environments, look at the variant of them, and target each of them with different policy, not just one holistic policy, but that will address them and look at the level, the contemporary challenges on each of them. Each of these contemporary challenge, we need a contemporary solution to addressing each of them, so that at the end of the day, we have an holistic picture of the policy we are looking at to be able to address this security challenge. Now, you can look at Nigeria, for example. Look at the variant of security challenge we have. That you can sleep alone and close your eyes. The security at home, security at the market, security at bus stops, security at the airports. We have the variant of these security issues everywhere. So the policy issues, as far as this is concerned, must be such that must be able to address each of the variant of these type of security challenges we have all over the world. Not only, like I said, not only in Nigeria, even as you have cross-border, there are cross-border security challenges. We must understand them and know that, because you can either have internal aggression or external aggression. So if you don't understand them, even at the governance level, you must understand what you are faced with and look at it, have an holistic view, holistic package to address these different challenges, to be able to arrive at a very good destination as far as security, edging against possible security risk. That's very important. It's very, very critical as far as we are concerned. So every set of control, maybe at the public sector, private sector, must target each of these security and put up different policy. And let me say, before I conclude, that each of these, there's no fit for all model that will resolve all these security challenges together. One security in the office, security at the gate, security at the market, security in the home, all these different securities challenges, we have different model at addressing them. And that's where I'll be talking later in the import of education in addressing all these security challenges, but we must understand that they exist first. When we believe they exist, what are the types that we know? What are the variants of them? And what are different policies that we can put in place at addressing each of these, looking at the contemporary development all over the world, and also the volatility of this risk every day. And as they are developing, our knowledge also must be developing. The security people must update their knowledge, update the infrastructure, update everything at meeting this challenge that we can see everywhere. So let me stop there, because so when I come to the area of education, I will say more. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. That was very insightful, and we can't wait for you to get to the area of education and how this plays a very pivotal role. Professor Akintoye, we appreciate that. I would be asking Dr. Olawumi right now. Sir, if you can hear me, the question that I will put to your table is this: how can the Nigerian government balance the need for security with the need to protect human rights? Can there be a balance? Does that even exist?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much for that question. I think before I go now, I must thank Professor Akintoye for the holistic overview of the questions on the issue of policy. Everything actually devolves from policy, because you cannot come up with any strategy either for human rights protection or for the peace, safety of people without a sound policy. And that's what Professor has just enunciated. My paper was on protection of human rights and global peace in Nigeria. The issue of peace or safety, they are basically something that is synonymous with justice system. So the question you ask about human rights protection, we have the National Human Rights Commission, and Nigeria is a signatory to a lot of human rights provisions from the United Nations, to African Union. They have their own charter on human rights, the ECOWAS also. And we have domesticated most of these laws, you know. So I don't see a clash between provision of security and human rights. They are also governed by different conventions. You know, you have the Geneva Conventions that actually govern the way people conduct operations or wars, like what happened recently in Niger Delta, or what happened in Zaki Biam and Uti. I mean, these are things that contravenes, you know, people's rights. You know? So I understand your question and where you're coming from. But you see, the criminology of it, you know, when you're trying to provide security, is another aspect that we need to look at. Issue of willing and able. Our military are they willing and able to prosecute, you know, officers that erred, you know, during operations. And we are talking about issue that has to do with genocide, issue that has to do with war crimes and crime against humanity. So we have the international provisions. The International Criminal Court is there, where people can seek redress. You have the Amnesty International. You have Human Rights Watch. So there are a lot of bodies that governs this area of the question you're asking about human rights and security. So they are separate and they are independent. So if you contravene certain provisions in your rules of engagement, your military officer, there are court martials that await you. So if you commit a crime during an operation or during provision of security or even police patrol, where they arrest people, collect their laptops, and so you can go as low as even civil defense. If you contravene the Security Act, there are provisions where you'll be tried. So most military operations and even civil police, they have dual jurisdiction. For instance, you know, they have jurisdictions as to place and time, and they are subject to military law and the law of war, and they're also subject to civil law. So I don't see any contradiction in the process of provision of security in a society and issue of human rights. If you contravene human rights in the process of providing security, you will have your days in court. So I think that different areas, but there's also a theoretical linkage between the two of them. So there are usually on education and policy gaps. Maybe I'll talk more about some of these things later. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Dr. Olawumi, I will still be asking you a question, and the question will be directed pretty much at almost the same pattern of what I asked Professor Akintoye. What, in your expert opinion, are the critical issues that have created these governance and policy gaps that have contributed to the trend of insecurity in Nigeria? What would you say are the issues that are at stake at the moment creating this particular problem? Dr. Olawumi, sir.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think the answer is obvious. I think it's the kind, because I'll take it at the high level, that's the abstract level, where we say the kind of democracy we practice in Nigeria, which is governed by the Nigerian Constitution, is exactly what I would claim to be the albatross as to why Nigeria is insecure. It's like you want to fly a plane, you know, the avionics of a plane is very important. So the space in Nigeria is governed by a 1999 constitution as amended, which is very skewed in a wrong direction. So that is where we can take it from. That's the 10,000 feet level I want to take it. The constitution is one of the major problems. Then the other area, as I've said in my earlier opening remark, I told you that security, justice, and politics, they have links. If you want to provide security for your citizen and you have the wrong person at the helm of affair at any level, either president, senate, judiciary, and even the governors. Governors don't even know why they are the chief security officer of their state. So I really wish that this program you are trying to start, or that you started, is going to be extended to the governors, the senators, that they must attend this kind of programs before they are maybe sworn in. If you win an election, before you are sworn in, you must be sent to an institutions like this where you run an MBA program in security. So the answer may look remote, you know, but you see that is the leadership, the way we play politics, our democracy, the constitutions. So those are the things that makes Nigeria ungovernable, because there's no equity, you know, there's polarization. Issue of politics, I will put it clear to our audience that the more parties you have in a country or in a state determines how polarized you are going to be. If you have 10 parties in Nigeria, that means Nigeria may be polarized in 10 places. If you have 2 parties in the United States, maybe Democrats and Republicans, then they are going to be divided along those 2 parties. In Nigeria, you have almost 30-something, I don't know how many they are now. So Nigeria is going to be divided along those parties. And this grew insecurity in Nigeria because of the struggle for power. Then finally, I mentioned, the issue of corruption. You know, this another thing that breeds insecurity. Corruption doesn't mean just stealing money. Nepotism is part of it. When people that are not qualified in places, it leads to restiveness, agitation, or unemployment. So it's a very wide space why Nigeria political space is very virulent. I've mentioned the issue of constitution, the type of politics we play, the type of democracy we have, the party politics, and so on. And corruption, I think, is the major reason why Nigeria is at this level. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Olawumi. That was very insightful. And you did mention a couple of key things that I would, of course, come back to address in my further questions to you, sir. I would like to ask Professor Akintoye, how do you think security education can effectively address governance and policy gaps? What strategies can be deployed to assist this particular problem that we're addressing?
Oh, okay, thank you very much. I want to appreciate my other brother for what he discussed. And let me say this very first, and just like a writer to what he said. Yes, while we're looking at good governance and all that, I think we must understand the gravity of what we are talking about, because you will not even know what to do if you don't understand the gravity of what is happening. Before you can set up policy issues that will address whatever gap we are talking about, we must understand that there is a problem. For example, now, let me give you a simple example. Now, if you don't know that, for example, now, if you have not been flying Nigerian roads and you've been flying, you will not know that roads are bad. Not until a few years back, in the Nigerian environment, we have been underplaying the issue of security. Security education and challenges were not taken seriously. Why? Because people did not even understand the type of security challenges that we had at that time. Not until now that things are getting, out of order, that we now tend to see what we have in place. So now, as it is now, it is no more, news that we are faced with a number of security challenges, and that we need different policies at addressing them. So to that extent, I will say, just like my brother said, number one, that even people in governance, people at the top must understand there are security challenges, and they must know that it's real. And the gravity, we cannot afford to underplay the gravity of these security challenges. And now, look at the policies, aggressive policies at addressing them. We are going to have different type of policies that will address them. Don't forget, if you run a normal environment, then you can always apply normal model. In a normal environment, you set up models that work in that environment. In an abnormal environment, you set up both normal and abnormal model at addressing issues in that place. I want to submit, ladies and gentlemen, that as we are now, our model in Nigeria as addressing security issues have gone beyond just using the normal model. There are different models we have to adopt now, both direct and indirect model, that will address this. And as far as policy is concerned, like I mentioned before, we need to look at the holistic policy, and that cannot be put in place without proper education. And that's why I said, I want to thank the environment like this, allogene environment, where people can be informed, they can be engaged, understand the type of security challenge that we have, and what are the different things we can do at addressing them. Because it's not a day's job, but you must understand. And as you go by and by, there are going to be contemporary, additions to some of these challenges we are talking about. A new model will be developed. So your capability or capacity to handle this model at addressing these challenges, very, very important. And education is very critical. As far as we are concerned, everybody at every level, I say this, everybody at every level, whether at the lower or at the apex level, we need the knowledge of security. Not just security as if what is security? Security is risk. Now, but when you cannot sleep, even in your own house, security has gone beyond the conceptual definition of what we used to know about security. You have a security gate, you have a security man at the gate. It has gone beyond that. We have got an advanced level of security challenges that we need advanced model at addressing that. So the policies that will be put in place are going to be policies that will, one, traditional and also contemporary policies that will address that. And we have no alternative than to borrow from everywhere. So even as we educate, in our education, it must be very holistic in nature to the extent that, yes, we can address every facet of these security issues, as it were, and set up policies that will address both the minor and the major security. Because whether we like it or not, what we used to categorize as minor security have now gone to major security issues. Why? Because we left them for long and we underplayed their relevance. We assumed that they were not there. We believe that if you have money, you can do everything. Now, with your money, you can have all the money, and yet you will not be able to sleep at all. You'll be able to move anywhere. You need convoy of security to follow you. That has not even solved the problem, because there are people that are, escorted everywhere, and yet they were still, attacked. So what do? We need a number of both direct and indirect method of security, addressing this security to be able to achieve, get there. And that's why I said that the importance of education, as far as technology is concerned, contemporary education is concerned, contemporary information is concerned, awareness is concerned about security challenges. Now, we cannot, it's very important. Criminality, just like my brother said, when you are talking of criminals now, in the olden day, when when you listen to anybody, we're talking of Yahoo. You think Yahoo is somebody that will deceive somebody online. It has gone beyond that. We have gotten Yahoo Plus. This thing is advancing on daily basis. So until you sit down to understand them and you research into them, so we need to set up, hypotheses to understand that these are possibilities. Now, because what we are seeing now from empirical literature and even from findings now have given us, results to saying that as of today, we now have a lot of challenges that we have to address one after the other. So education, identify the problem and set up real hypotheses at addressing them and go into research each of them one after the other. How do we address security at home? How do we address security against the infants? Aggression against, all these things we need sitting down, setting up hypotheses and researching to them, and coming up with empirics, findings that will give us solutions. And now comparing that with what has happened in other climes where they were faced with the same security challenges and how they were addressed. And now we go to town, do our pilots, test and study at addressing that. Now, we have seen situations in this country where people were kidnapped and they were from other climes, other countries. And those who came, even despite the fact that so many people were kidnapped, they came with their own architecture. They came with their own security, apparatus. They came with their own security, strategy. And they want to pick their own. What do we do? As a country, we cannot just sit down and say, yes, they came to pick their own from the US. What do? We need to study. What did they do? What method did they apply? What technology did they apply? What can we do? How much do we budget to education and security? If you know everything, just like I know in the university, we know everything that everyone knows. Every one of us, whether you don't have to be a professor. Everybody, whether you are a professor, you are a vice chancellor, you are anything. You need knowledge of security, from the principle of security to advanced security challenges, and also to addressing security policies and challenges, and even people in governance. It's very important. If you are going to govern anybody, if you are going to aid anybody, it is very clear now. To be anybody, even a number in a village, you need to understand. You can see now that monarchs, they travel and they are kidnapped. There are a lot of security. If you don't understand, if you have education, probably they will have edged against some of these things. They will have understood what they should do, and now they will not fall into those. They will not fall victim of those things that befell them. So it is important that the policy makers must understand first the security challenges and also be trained and have information. And everybody must be involved in this matter. It's not just anybody. It's not just the clerk. It's not just the managers. Everybody from the beginning to the end must be involved in security issues, because if you have everything, if you are sitting at the top and there are security challenges, you should know definitely at the end of the day, what you are sitting on is a gunpowder, which eventually come to consumers. My brother mentioned the issue of the type of democracy we run. That's it. Because we don't even understand the security challenge we have in them. That's why we go into different things. But when you know, even as somebody that's going to politics, you know, understand that even when you go to politics, we have seen recently that even people that were contesting for positions were also now kidnapped. So because you know they assumed everything was okay because well, we have you know, armor tank, I have bulletproof cars, but these things are now proven insufficient and resolving this problem. So there must be an holistic policy, comprehensive education, and contemporary education that will take us there to where we are going to. So that at the end of the day, all of us can sleep well, think well, stay well, eat well, and be convinced that we can live in a peaceful environment. Otherwise, nothing will work if we are not careful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Akintoye. I would come back again to a couple of things that you have said, but I think you spoke with a lot of passion with respect to the contributing factors to governance and policy issues as it also links to insecurity in Nigeria. I want to ask Dr. Olawumi this very key question at this point. I've heard a lot about a lot of things I've said. You did mention security, justice, and politics and their link. You talked about corruption and the outcome of what corruption has created because of insecurity in Nigeria. So can I ask you, what are some effective strategies that would assist in addressing these root causes? And are there best practices or success stories as it relates to the Nigerian case that Nigeria can learn from?
Yeah, thank you very much. Once again, I want to thank Professor Ishola Rufus Akintoye for a very comprehensive approach. And I think in a way, he has even addressed this question. But to be specific, let me just make it short by saying that Singapore is an example that we can use. I mean, it's like a case study that Nigeria can use. And we should know the other side of your question. You are asking about what can we do differently.
But sir, can we use Singapore as a case study, noting that they don't have the terrorism factor, they don't have the bandits factor, and all of the other factors that are very peculiar to the Sahel and even West Africa as a whole? Would that be a strong example, or would you be linking the Singapore success story to Nigeria in a way that suggests that this is just really politics, like you earlier mentioned?
Yeah, I'd like to take it from a higher level. When I mention Singapore, I'm looking at the remote causes of insecurity. I'm not looking at the actions and the activities that we are seeing. Boko Haram, we're looking at insurgency in Niger Delta, we're looking at Fulani herdsmen. I mean, people fall victim to that kind of line of reasoning. You must, as an educationist, look at the remotes. Why do we have Boko Haram? That's why I'm using Singapore. Because if you look at the Singapore case, I could have mentioned Denmark, but that would be too far away. You look at the Human Development Index of Singapore. You look at the Corruption Perception Index of Singapore. And when you look at the Democracy Index of Singapore, these are the things that, give Singapore that tranquility that you see, the peace, the development, the progress, the safety in their country. But if you want to look at that, okay, right now we have Boko Haram, but why do we have Boko Haram? Why are they not having insecurity, as you rightly mentioned, in Singapore? It's because the level of their human development is very high. Their democracy is very clean. You understand? So when you look at Human Development Index, Democracy Index, and you look at the Corruption Perception Index, this is why they are clean. And that's why you must always look at the remote causes of a problem. I always fall victim of it because when I talk on TV or radio and I explain certain things, people look at the immediate all the time and they don't understand. Singapore is the way it is because their human development is very high. They don't have the issue of democracy that we have in Nigeria, where you start carrying cutlasses, people, all these primitive things you see during an election. They don't have it. And if you want to look at, let's say, a Muslim country, again, let's say we look at Saudi Arabia, or we look at Dubai. So if you want to talk about Boko Haram insurgents, and so that's a Muslim country. So when you look at what makes them different from us, even though they are very strong Islamically, so to say, but they are very peaceful, it's because of the Human Development Index, the Democracy Index, and the Corruption Perception Index. If you are corrupting in Saudi Arabia or some of these Arab countries, they're going to behead you. So let me now go to your answer. The second aspect is the justice system, which is derived from these two examples I have given. Singapore, I've mentioned Saudi Arabia or Dubai. I mentioned like Denmark, along the, those ones, they are out of this world because they are the best in the world when you look at these indices I just mentioned. So Nigeria, the issue in Nigeria is the justice system. And I don't want to be emotional at this point. There are people that are governing us and they are supposed to be in jail. So if your justice system is weak, then you find yourself in this kind of situation. Justice system, politics, and security, I mentioned it earlier in my opening remark, they are synonymous. If you look at those three, security, the justice system, and the politics, then you need to work on those three. And I've also mentioned the Human Development Index, Democracy Index, and Corruption Perception Index, which is also congruent, basically the same with what I just mentioned. So these are the indices we need to look at. And we see that the solution that you ask in your question is just very simple. Although it's going to be like a medium term or long term, but once you can achieve some of these things. Why you can ask a simple question: why is Denmark so peaceful? I did a research on why Denmark is so, peaceful and progressive, and Nigeria is not. That is my PhD thesis. And I picked another country in Africa. I picked a Democratic Republic of Congo, which is also worse than Nigeria. So I picked the best, Denmark, Nigeria, then DRC, Congo. And when you look at all the indices, why we are not peaceful is because of Human Development Index, which is very poor, Democracy Index, which is perhaps the worst in Africa, and the Corruption Perception Index, which, of course, I think we are the most corrupt nation in the whole wide world. And when you have a poor justice system, then you're not going to be peaceful. There's a simple linear regression that I can give you. I can predict when a country is going to be peaceful, or it's not going to be peaceful. Whether they are going to be insecurity or they're going to be peace. It's a very simple analysis. Once you use a simple linear regression and you regress Democracy Index, Human Development Index, Corruption Perception Index, you will score yourself over 10, and you see that you're going to, once you score below 5, you can never see peace, no matter what you do. So Nigeria can get it right. I remember giving that book to Shubajo, Buhari. They never read it. And I also gave to all the security agencies, because the white people saw my PhD and they converted it into a book. So the book is on Amazon. It's about Nigeria, global peace, and issue of protection of human rights. So the solution to our will-be students is in their hands. Before I stop, I think, let me also make something clear so that we don't make it too high level. We have to look at what the Professor Akintoye tried to explain, but maybe because a professor, I think it did not come down well. It's high level. So when you look at the issue of models, I had him talking about models. There are various models. But for our audience, for MBA level, I think they should begin to look at what do you really want to secure? let's just quiet the noise. It's okay. What is it that you want to secure? Yeah, you're talking about insecurity. So what do you want to secure? So one of the model is 3 things. You group them as personnel security. You want to safeguard your personnel. Let's start going to MBA proper. 2, you want to safeguard your documents. So you're talking about the personnel, you're talking about the documents that you have on your laptops, issue of cyber security and so on. Then you talk about materials. So those are the things you really want to secure. Then you ask another basic questions. Secure from what? What is the enemy? Who is the enemy that you want to protect? Your documents, your materials, and your personnel. You are protecting them against what? 1, you are protecting your documents against espionage. Your material, you are protecting it from what I would call sabotage, because material include your generator in your office, some of the materials that you use to make sure that your day-to-day activities going on. So somebody might want to sabotage your material to make sure that your office does not function. Then the third one, where I will stop, we're talking about model now. We'll talk about espionage against your document, sabotage against your material. And the third one is subversion, where you don't want somebody to talk to your staff, subvert them, and make sure that you lose your best hands, or there's a lot of gossip that's going to destroy your organization. So you look at espionage, sabotage, and subversion. That's what you're protecting. Your documents, your material, and your personnel against. So I just want to bring the discussion a bit down so that our audience can also follow. Thank you, host.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Olawumi. I have just one more question for you, sir. So regarding our MBA security management, what role do you think such a program will play in assisting to address and achieve some of the points that you have mentioned, sir?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you once again. I was very excited when my brother was discussing and he was bringing up some case study. I'm sure that we are aware that at Backward University and now Backward Business School, we run what we call the 30-70 model. 30% academic and 70% practical. We draw our facilitators not only from the academia, we also draw from the industry. So we have that. So how are we going to be handling this program? How are we going to handle them? In fact, I want to tell us that there is going to be a little bit of a restructuring, because now that we have moved to Lagos now. We have moved to our building in Lagos, in Yaba. And I'm happy to inform you that Allogene is one of the very few partners that we are carrying to Lagos. There are some other people that are joining the other department. Now, what we are on the MBA, we draw people from the industry, very experienced people, and we use what we call the practical method, where we have not only the theoretical issue, somebody will give you theoretical information, about 30%, and now you are going to engage in case study, syndicate groups. You are going to have what you call the field experience. You go to the field for a few months to see exactly what we are talking about. So this, training is not only like the internship. It's not only limited to the classroom, and it's going to be hybrid. In fact, we have done it such a way now that somebody in the US can also join us on that program. As we speak now, we have some of our facilitators drawn outside Nigeria, from South Africa, and I tell you from the UK, from all over. We have drawn people everywhere, so they can share knowledge with our students at that level. So the MBA natural program will expose our students not only to the theoretical platform of security issues, but also to the practical, how those things are going to be addressed, and majorly, essentially, through the case study. We're going to have a lot of case studies that will address a number of issues. I was very happy when he was mentioning the issue of Singapore and all that. We are going to play with a number of case studies. We are bringing different experts from the field to discuss different things. So we are not going to have one case study fit for all. No. Each course we take at the MBA, we have particular case study addressing issues in that area. When we talk of security at work, a case study will be there. Security at the airport, all those things will be addressed, specially. And now, like I said, the MBA program is now enlarged or restructured in such a way that we are going to have the variant of so many things, both, like I said, both the theoretical platform and also the practical environment. That is 70 model. And people will come from everywhere. Our facilitators are not going to only be from here. We are doing facilitators of everywhere. Developed economy, other developing economy, and every area where we have challenges, different challenges, to go and talk to our students on that program. So we are going to have what we call the very comprehensive and all-encompassing program that at the end of the day, when anybody is graduating from that program, you'll be sure that you have gotten something. And I want to advise, to also inform us that Babcock University is in the league of 120. We have 128 universities all over the world with our headquarters in the US. So after now, when you come to Babcock House in Lagos, Ayaba now, and we're going to be now having our MBA security management, we are going to have people from various clients talking to our students and now giving them different type of information. And at the end of the day, students will now be exposed to different security architecture and environment and principles all over the world. More than that, there will be time for practical. And what we have also planned is that for our business school now, all our students in the MBA and some other program, we are now going to have what we call an exchange program, where we visit before the end of the program, just about a few days or 1 week, they visit other places where we are going to have different type of other people coming together on the MBA program. In November, we're in London with about 400 different business schools. We met together, and all of us, we met and share, we compare notes and share ideas. So that is, at the end of the day, we're going to have a totally prepared, personnel or members or students who are ready to function at the work environment at any level, up to management level, as far as security matters management is concerned. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for that. You broadened and properly guided us on the understanding of the Halogen MBA in security management in partnership with Babcock University. I have one more question for Dr. Olawumi, and then after that, I would ask for closing remarks from Professor Akintoye, and then, of course, Dr. Olawumi, and then I will take it off from there. Dr. Olawumi, you are one of the faculty members of the MBA in security management, which I just mentioned, and which Professor Akintoye also mentioned. And you handle the strategic security management. From that particular course, what would you say to the audience about that course and how it impacts the Nigerian society in the context of the conversations that we're currently having? Dr. Olawumi, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that course is one of the core program that is the core. Because if you are running an MBA program, we want to assume that you are a captain of an industry or you work in commercial centers, bank, and so on. So this program actually look at the things that we ensure a captain of industry protects his arsenal. So I'm trying to use military term now. I mean, what are your arsenals? Your secrets, the informations that you need to protect, how to classify them. Then it's not just theoretical classification. How do you know that this document should be classified as secrets? Is it because the disclosure of such information is going to be injurious to the function or functioning of your organization? Or when we look at case studies like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, how they have been at it for so many decades and how both of them has been surviving. What makes them tick? Why is Coca-Cola ahead? We have case studies of Dangote and this other cement company. I think they call them Lafarge now. So these are things that we try to do to enlighten some of these captains of industry and those that are aspiring for leadership position to know how do you protect your establishment. We look at Nestle. Nestle is somewhere around Shagamu. How do they protect Nestle from intruders? Intruders it's not just only people that jump in to steal, but those that want to intrude into your cyber system to pick out your secrets, or people that want to subvert your leaders. I mean, some of them, we cannot say it here, where somebody wants to subvert the CEO of another company to come and work for them, and thereby leaking the secrets of their own company to this one. They're ready to pay twice, 3 times. So how do you prevent such occurrences that can destroy your firms or your industry? So the strategic program is all-encompassing, but we try to focus on firms and industry, how to protect them. But if in a class we have people that are, let's say, from the military or from government houses or from political systems, of course, the program is very flexible. And I want to really enjoin people to come and tap from this wealth of experience that we gather in this program. 35 years of military intelligence operations, academic experience of over almost a decade at university level. So I don't think there's any other better program than this. I want to welcome everybody that's listening to give it a try and see the quality of the faculties that has been gathered here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Olawumi. I would ask Professor Akintoye to give us his closing remark, and then I will come to Dr. Olawumi for his closing remarks as well, and then I'll take it up from there. A lot of very insightful things that have been said. I should quickly say to every viewer that the session is available on our YouTube platform, and that at any point in time you can access the live session. We would also be coming up with an edited version that would also be on the YouTube platform as well. So at any point in time you have questions, particularly regarding some of the things that has been said, and you want to ask, you just type it in the chat box at any time. We will see it, we'll pick it up, and we will respond to you. You may also wish to leave your email addresses as well, so that we can respond to you via email when we get your question. So, Professor Akintoye, I want to pass it over to you. What will be your closing remark regarding the conversation today, sir?
Thank you very much for having me, and I want to appreciate the organizers for inviting me. Let me also say that from what Dr. Olawumi just said now, our MBA program, like I said, is going to be structured in such a way that we are still going to have, apart from security management, there are security issues that will come under it with a lot of other from industry. when you have a program and you look at it, and we are bringing everybody on, just like Halogen is coming as our partner. We are bringing people on at various levels of certification. We are going to have short-term certification. We are going to have the MBA, all with our partnership with Halogen. We are going to bring, military personnel, everybody, like I said, from everywhere, both from Nigeria and outside Nigeria. So we are going to have an holistic type of training at the end of the day. We want to welcome you. So have a visit. And when you come there, you are going to see one of the rooms where you're going to see Halogen partnership at the left when you come to the first floor of number 316 Way, Yaba, Lagos. I can only invite you to come and see what we have. And when you look at our curriculum, you see our curriculum very comprehensive and all encompassing. Thank you very much for having me. God bless you. Thank you, Halogen. We are expecting you, and we are expecting our curriculum to be enhanced very much and to have very comprehensive curriculum. But like I said, we are going to have faculty members and facilitators both from the industry and from the academia. 30-70 model is our goal. Thank you very much, and God bless you. So welcome to Babcock Business School and Babcock House in Lagos. You are all welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Akintoye. Dr. Olawumi, do you have any closing remark for today's session? We really are very grateful for having you on board, noting your very busy schedule. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I think I want to thank Professor Rufus Akintoye. It's really a pleasure to be on the platform with him. I miss my friend that did not appear, and to our participants or interested students, I think you can get something better than this. You are going to get the best professionals in the field, both practical or theory, so it depends. So I think this is going to be one of the best MBA program in this country, and maybe even beyond. And I think people should avail themselves the opportunity. It's a pleasure to be part of this success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Olawumi. It's been a very insightful session. Today we have had two of our panelists. We've had Professor Ishola Rufus Akintoye, who is the director of Babcock Center for Executive Development. They are partners with Halogen Group in the Halogen MBA Security Management. And of course, he has invited everyone to come to the Babcock Center for Executive Development in Lagos State that has just recently relocated. We have also had retired Commodore. I know I've been referring to him a lot as Dr. Olawumi, but he's a retired Commodore, Dr. Kunle Olawumi. He is currently the head of Department International Relations and Diplomacy at Christland University. Thank you, sirs, for your time. I know you've taken this out of a very, very busy schedule to be part of what we do here. I believe that the sessions have been very insightful. There's been a lot of comments on our YouTube page that has been, quite commendable. I've had someone say, Pascal Areva TV, this is the administration of the TV, the Areva TV, who has stated that they're very excited about the session, and they're also excited and hopefully will be looking forward to join the MBA program. We've had a couple of people also indicated that they would like to participate in the MBA program. We will definitely reach out to you via emails and give you all of the details that you need, and of course the registration portal for you to register. Like Professor Akintoye has rightly said, the MBA program is now you can be anywhere in the world and be a part of the MBA program. It's 100% practice-based. He has said very clearly that we are aiming for a 70-30. Of course, we'll be having industries in the academia and then those in the practice itself that will be part of this. I want to just quickly state a few highlights that would, assist in giving some form of cream to the program. The MBA also has retreats. We have one local retreat and one international retreat that will be done in the course of the 18 months of the MBA program. The local retreats would usually held at Babcock University premises And while the international retreats, which we propose to always hold between August and September yearly, will be held at an international country that will be communicated to the students at particular points in time. Of course, we have the Babcock Exchange Program, all right, which is the program that assists the MBA security management students with the executive MBA students to rub and to meet and rub minds, and of course interact and network at the same time. And I want to say that every member of the MBA security management program, every student would immediately be nominated into the fellowship of the Enterprise Security Risk Management. This is the only fellowship in ESRM that exists in Nigeria. And it means that automatically, the moment you become a student, you become a member, you become nominated to that fellowship. Each student would also belong to an exclusive alumni network of security experts, where you'll be meeting professionals from different industries, both in the statutory and private sector, all right? And of course, you build your network from there on. We have a very strong career push. We recommend our students to our top clients. Allogene has well over 20,000 of these clients across different locations in Nigeria and even international partners as well. It's been a very wonderful session. Thank you once again to our panelists. Thank you to all of our patient viewers who waited all through the course of this session. We see your comments. We appreciate your comments. Someone particularly sent their regards to Professor Akintoye and Dr. Olawumi. This is Daniel Olaliko Ajay, and he has said that they are wonderful insights, and he has also appreciated your closing remarks. And thank you, Daniel Olakule Ajay. We see that comments and we appreciate this. Emmanuel Owosheni, you would immediately get the link for the MBA program, as with every other person who has indicated interest in being part of this program. Let's all have a fantastic day. To our panelists, let's have a fantastic day ahead as well. And to our viewers, you too have a fantastic day. From us here at Allogene Academy, God bless you. Have a lovely day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. Thank you.